Did you get a chance to coach Mac up before his first media days? Tell him how to handle it?
I didn't get a chance to talk to Mac before the media days. No, I did get a chance to talk to him afterwards. Thought he handled it real well. He's himself. And I think that we are fortunate in this conference to have several coaches that are really going to go up there on the podium and be themselves. And I think that's really, kind of gratifying. It's oftentimes you get a lot of coach speak and stuff like that at media day situation, and that's to be understood. But really, you think about Brett Bielema and Gary Pinkel, very much himself, very measured, very much in control of the situation, and Dan Mullen is always a blast to be around. I mean, it was cool to be around and seeing Jim McElwain take part in his first media days was special for me because we do have such a close relationship.
For the Florida fans who are still trying to figure him out, was this a good picture of who he is?
I mean, did they see his socks or lack thereof? I mean, yeah, that's who he is. Very laid back, and he's friendly and he's approachable. And I think the best thing about Jim McElwain is you just know exactly what you're going to get. And he's himself, and he's never going to change. And he just enjoys, coaching football. And he's a ball coach. And he does a great job of really bringing out the best in everybody around him. And that's one thing that I think I admired most about playing for him, where we might have not been as talented, where we might have struggled. You would have never thought that was an area where we had issues, because that person had a ridiculous amount of confidence in themselves, in large part due to the way Jim McElwain talks to you and talks to the team. And I think Florida, frankly, is in dire need of something like that. If I look at that offense, it seemed a little beaten down at times last year. Didn't seem very confident, Jeff Driscoll especially. So, turning over a new page, I'm excited for what he's going to do in Gainesville.
Can you talk about your time at Alabama with Coach McElwain and the job that you think he's going to be able to do at Florida?
Yeah, I think Coach Mac's going to do a great job. I really do. Now, it's going to take time, and I hope people in Gainesville are patient, because that cupboard was bare. Contrary to what other coaches have said, and contrary to what people think, there's very few talented players on the offensive line that participated in the spring. It was constantly trying to move guys around, who fits best where. The secondary is something to build on, but how long is that secondary going to be able to keep it together? Is Vernon Hargraves entering his final season in Gainesville? More than likely. So you have some pieces in place, yes, but they're going to be young, and they're going to develop. And if they get to 6, 7, 8 wins this year, that would be an incredible job by Jim McElwain, because I think in the near future they will eventually get to that point where they have the depth to be able to compete in a conference that is incredibly physical. But right now they're not even close to being there. And I just hope fans in Gainesville and around the state of Florida are patient with a coach that certainly has a plan and a vision for what the program's going to be.
What did he do to bring out the best in Alabama's offense when he was there, and how do you think he's going to be able to do that at Florida? Just what's his qualities as a coach?
One thing he really does is he adapts the offensive system to the personnel. And I felt like in Muschamp's tenure, when he signed on, he inherited a group of recruits that were recruited to play in Urban Meyer's system. And Charlie Weiss was hired to become the offensive coordinator who was going to run a pro-style offense. I wasn't sure that it was the best fit. I thought it was a square peg, round hole scenario. Jim McElwain, however, if Treon Harris is starting quarterback, he'll incorporate those zone reads. He'll do some more out of the shotgun. He'll do movement-type plays. I would expect him to do movement anyways because of the inexperience on the offensive line. So misdirection, anything to confuse the defense. And he's also going to feature players. And that's one thing that I thought he did a great job of at Alabama, putting Julio Jones in a position where he can get the best matchup possible. Maybe that's what he's going to see this year with the receivers. We haven't seen what Brandon Powell's going to be just yet. But by all counts, he's going to be able to play in the slot and from the running back position. He's going to play outside. He's going to be in motion. I mean, he will take a player and exploit the defense's weaknesses by putting that player in a position to succeed. And he did a great job at Alabama, and that was in large part due, to his creativity and play calling.
How do you take a look at this whole event? From you've been a player, so you know what it feels like on that side. Now you're on the national media side.
Yeah.
Talk about just this event as a whole, and your viewpoint as a media member and also a former player.
Well, it's a lot more fun as a media member, to be honest with you. I didn't like it as a player. And look, I was excited about going. I had to pretend that I wasn't, because if you're excited about doing media in the locker room, you're going to get ribbed. They'll kill you. So, I was excited about coming here as a player, but really as a media member, I love it. because you get the opportunity to hear all these different coaches and interact with these players, and you've watched them and you've gotten to know them, but you've never been able to put a name with a face. And seeing those guys, talking to them, having casual conversations, really an important part of what we do. And I think the SEC Network has been a lot of fun for me personally, just because we have 20 hours over the last 4 days, and we're only talking about 14 teams. So we can really dive into these teams. We're talking backups, we're talking rotational players, we're talking situational defense. I mean, we're talking about the X's and the O's, and we're getting deep into it. So, it's been a real joy as a media member, but as a player, answering the question what Mark Ingram's like, 100 times in a 3-hour span, that got a little old.
And then just one quick follow-up on that. Does that change your predictions at all, or anything that you prognosticate for that coming season, the more in depth that you learn about these teams?
Last year I picked Ohio State to win the national championship when I saw them in a media day situation with Oregon, because I felt like their coaches had so much confidence. Every coach here has confidence in who their team's going to be. Sure. And I think that's what I love about these coaches that are in this conference. I mean, you have some real strong personalities, some guys that really believe in what they're doing. And honestly, I am not just saying this. After visiting and listening to these guys, I feel better about their teams now after hearing them speak than I did before, because they uplifted me and made me a believer. So that's kind of an exciting deal too. I mean, we really have some excellent communicators in this league, and I'm grateful to be able to interact with them.
Greg, why were your ties so bad last year on SEC Network? What have you done in this offseason to really get that going on a little bit better?
I had to go to this guy named, what is his name? Burns. Yeah, Peter Burns. And, I didn't like his outfits, but, his ties were slimming, and that's what I was going for.
Greg, can you talk?
I'm not going to wear glasses on set, though. I'm not that crazy.
Can you talk?